Welcome to this training video. In this training video, I will give you some overview on computer networks. This is the third part of the training video series, Communication Systems and Networking. Just basic introduction on computer networks. So this is Said. I provide consultancy under justeTC.net. Just etc. Technologies Canada and justeTC.net is my company website. And this is my personal profile and this is my email address. So the addresses, I provide free training videos on these websites in Bengali and English language, and I can post your concerns, questions here. Okay. So computer networks. What is a computer network? Actually, a computer network, you can say that when two or more computers are connected with some medium and they can have access to each other, then they can be called as a computer networks. So computer network, it means the interconnected computers. They're interconnected through wired medium or wireless medium, some sort of wire and just without any wireless. Okay, so wireless network, and this will be the wired network. So in computer network, one computer can access other computers for hardware, software, and or information resources when they are allowed to do that. So why people create a computer network? To share hardware resources of another computer, to share software resources of another computer, to utilize information resources of another computer. So let's say in your office you have 5 computers and 1 printer. You do not want to buy 5 printers for 5 computers, but if you can connect the printer into one of the network computer or into networking device like hub or switch, other computers will be able to utilize this printer. So you're just sharing hardware from another computer. Software resource share. Sometimes you can just buy one software, install it to one computer, and you can utilize it from the other network computer. You don't need to buy 10 or 5 different pieces of the same software. It will actually depend on the software, whether you can use it or not, or if that kind of facility is there or not. But using remote desktop, you can always use the software in another computer. But you need to think about the speed of the computer and speed of the network that may affect. And I think another option of software resource share, I think when you have some server software and you can connect using a client software to the server software and use it, this can be one sort of software resource share. And information resource share, all the files and information, pictures and videos in another computer you can access from a network computer. So computer networks is providing you the information resource sharing. Types of computer network. What kind of types of computer network? I think this is the different types of computer network. The ownership based, who own the computer networks. Based on that, it can be a private network, it can be a public network. Private network, it does belong to a private company, to an organization, to an individual, just like your company network, the network of a school. All those are usually private networks. Public network, they do not belong to an organization, but they can be operated by an organization. Just like the internet, telephone network system, those are examples of public network. If you want to connect to the internet, you can. If you want to connect to telephone network system, you can, but you have to follow some procedure. And in terms of control and processing resources, computer networks can be categorized into 3 types: centralized, distributed, and hybrid. In centralized, just the one computer have the storage and processing and significant amount of RAM. It does most of the processings. Other computers are connected to it. They're usually called terminals. They can be dumb terminal, just a monitor and keyboard, or they can be a little bit of intelligent terminal, just having keyboard, monitor, and a little bit of storage and maybe a little bit of processing, but the primary processing will be done on the central and powerful computer. In distributed computer, there are workstations. They have significant amount of processing power and significant amount of storage, and most of the processings are done in those workstations. Though in distributed systems, you can have servers, not one, but it can have several servers. One server can do one type of activities, or they all can share the same type of activity. One can be log server, one can be mail server, one can be authentication server, those types of things. But they are not the main processing resources. Yes, they can do significant processing in some kind of work, but the workstations are also powerful enough to do most of the processing on their own. In distributed network, there can have some distributed storage systems as well in addition to those servers and workstations. In hybrid network, I think both centralized computers, centralized network and distributed network is there. They are just interconnected. So you can see this is a centralized network. This is the main computer with all the processing, and these are the terminals. So centralized network, all the users, and this is the server. And distributed network, all the users with processing powers and storages, and these are the servers. Network types based on geographical span, how much area, how much they cover, based on their coverage area. Computer networks can be of the four types: personal area network or PAN, local area network or LAN, metropolitan area network or MAN, wide area network or WAN. So personal area network, it just belongs to a person. It can span in a very small area, just like in a room. The target of this type of network is just so that a person is able to share all the computing devices he uses around him. Nowadays, people use lots of computer devices around him, maybe some computers, some laptops, some PDS, some portable printers, mobile phones, pocket video games, all those devices they use. So if they can connect all those devices in personal area network, it can provide additional functionality to the user. Maybe he can take a picture and supply it to the computer using the network. Yeah, I think it can make his work easier. Local area network usually spans less than 10 kilometer area. Network for school campus network, network on school campus, network in a big building. All those are examples of local area network. And local area network, they can be two types: client server network or server based network. I think in this case, there will be some servers, one or more, some primary, some secondary, some those type of things. So they can provide the authentication service, permission management, resource management, those types of things. And they get the priority over the other computers. So they controls the other computers, and they also controls the logins and activities on the other computers in the network. In peer-to-peer network, all computers are same. They are connected in a network, and there is no server. There is no none to control. P2P network. Yeah. Everyone can share and use. Metropolitan area network, it spans over a large area, usually over a city. A city-wide cable TV network can be an example. Metropolitan area network, it can use a telephone line, modem, microwave as the transmission media. I think from around a city, just in long distances, you can use microwave, just some tower and some microwave transmitter and receiver. just line of sight communication and transferring data, or you can use the telephone line and the modem to connect all the different computers in different areas in the city and create the metropolitan area network. Wide area network, it spans over a very large geographical area. In the local area networks and metropolitan area networks in different areas, they can get connected and create a wide area network. For example, when all the city networks in a country are connected, we can call it a wireless area network. Or if all the administrative networks, government administrative networks across the whole country, if they get connected, we can also call it as a wide area network. Internet is a very good example of wide area network. It scans over the whole world. For wide area network, the transmission media can be telephone line to connect all the computers in long distances. Satellite communications, satellite communications, it can cover the whole world, or where telephone lines are hard to reach, or microwave transmission. Microwave transmission, actually satellite communication, they also use microwave transmission, but microwave transmission, it can be two types, terrestrial and satellite. Terrestrial microwave transmission, that can also be used to create the wide area network to connect different LANs or WANs, and fiber optic cable. Many times it is used in the backbone of the wide area network. I think in internet, in the backbone, in many places fiber optic cable are used, as they have very high speed of data transfer rate. Okay, wide area network, components of wide area network, routers, WAN connections, and security policies. Advantage of wide area network, you can communicate with any other parts of the world, with your family and friends or other organizations, something like this. Telemedicine, you can take advice from a doctor from another country over a long distance online learning. You can be a student for an online university that is far away from your country. Online shopping. Okay. Network devices, there are some network devices used for different purposes, to create network or to improve the network signal, all those things. Anyway, network interface card, it is used in computers to connect computers into a network. In older computers, you have some card, just a rectangular card that can be put into the slot, PCI slot, and you can connect your computer to the network. Nowadays, network interface card can be built in the motherboard, and you can just see an external port from the motherboard, from where the internet, I think it will get connected to the, you will get connected to the network using this network interface port. Modem, if you want to use dial-up connection to connect to the internet, you can use modem. As we saw that for metropolitan area network, we can use modem to create the metropolitan area network and to connect to the remote computers in another places in the same city. Hub is a device, rectangular device with some ports. It can create computer networks. I think you can connect computers into the port of the hub. One port to the hub and one port to a computer. So you have usually 2 port, 4 port, 8 port, 16 port, 32 port. So in 32 port computers, you can connect 32 port hub, you can connect 32 computers. Now hub can be of two types, active hub and passive hub. Active hub, it can increase the quality of the signal, amplifies the signal, and it can reduce the noise from the signal. So it is active hub, and from the passive hub, it does not amplify the signal, it does not remove the noise. What are the advantages of hub? It can create a computer network, it is usually cheaper, and it can use different types of mediums depending on the implementation. Disadvantages of hub, there will be collisions, good amount of collisions, and data filtering is not possible. Switch also looks like a hub, and it works the same. It also provides a similar purpose like hub. It can create a computer network. Different computers can connect to different switch port and create the computer network, but it can be less noisy, and its performance can be a little bit better because it does not send the data or information to all the ports. It just send to the receiver, only the sent to the target computer. So what are the advantages? Collision, there is a less possibility of collision. What are the disadvantages? It can be comparatively pricey, though not much actually. Data filtering still is not possible. Configuration can be a little bit more complex than the hub. Router. You can use router to connect to the internet, or routers are used to connect multiple computer networks, and their primary purpose is to route the data to the destination in a good way. It can find the shortest path to the destination, or it can find the path that will take the shortest time to reach to the destination. So router actually knows all of the paths around him, what the next computer or router, and it usually maintains a routing table with all the possible configurations or the routes, and when some data or information reaches to it, it analyzes the data, and based on the destination it sends to a particular route so that the data can reach to the destination timely and properly and with the quality. But one disadvantage of router, all the networks connected to a router has to be of the same protocol, and definitely it's more expensive than the others, and configuration is also can be difficult. But one thing is, router, there is a less collision in the router, and it can filter broadcast data. Gateway can connect multiple networks, and these networks can have different protocols. Sometimes a standalone computer can also work as a gateway, and then you need multiple network interface card for each of the networks it is trying to connect. Repeater, it just amplifies the signal so that the signal can reach further. The network signal can reach further. Bridge can connect more than one network in the data link layer. Functions of network কি আপনার কি ধরনের functions of network? What sorts of functions are available in computer network? I think the type of tasks involve resource management. You need to manage all the printers, scanners, all those network-enabled devices, network-connected devices. User management, creating users, creating groups, assigning users to groups, assigning permissions to groups or users. All those type of things are important. And the login configuration so that unauthorized users cannot log into the network. Those type of activities are there, but it can also be open. Security management, so that your network does not get attacked by external hackers. I think keeping the ports open so that others can or cannot connect, and using firewalls to secure your network. All those types of security work is involved in network, and usually network administrators, they provide this type of service. Network topology. What does it mean? Actually, in a computer network, how the computers are connected. What are the different ways the computers can get connected to each other and create the computer network? Among the most popular topologies, star network, ring network, bus network, tree network, mesh network, hybrid network. Star network. You can see multiple computers are connected in a network like a star. So this is the central computer or central device where all the computers are connected to. You can see all the computers here are connected to a hub. Here is the centralized hub. So they are creating the star network. The advantages of star network: if you remove one computer, other computers will still operate. If there is a problem in one of the port in the hub, still the network will be usable. Central control is possible. Okay. The disadvantages of star network: if the central device or hub is damaged, the network becomes unusable, and you need more cable. That means it requires more cables than the bus network. Bus just in straight line, straight bus, all the different computers are connected. Ring network, you can see all the computers are connected side by side in a ring. So central ring, everyone is connected, and the data is passed from one computer to another computer. Actually, in this case, the usual scenario is there is a token. One computer can have the token at a time, and whoever has the token, they can send the data, then he passes the token to the next computer, then the next computer can pass the data. So among the advantages, no central management. I would say that I think all the computer has equal right in the ring network. And among the disadvantages, if you want to add one more computer, you have to do some work, create the code and attach it. It's difficult. And if one of the computer gets out of network or does not work properly, the network does not work properly in the computer, and then all the rest of the network will be unusable. Another advantage of ring network is if you increase the number of computers, still the performance does not decrease much. Performance is almost intact. And for this disadvantage, it requires complex software to control. Bus network, all the computers are connected in a bus in a straight line. You can use some BNC connector to expand this bus and increase the size of the network. You can use repeaters here for amplification of the signal. All the computers send data to the bus, and in terms of receiving, all the computer try to send the receiver. If the data is intended for him, it gives the data, otherwise it just leaves there. Advantage: you can easily increase, extend the network. If one computer gets disconnected, the network still operates. It requires less amount of cables or wires. In terms of disadvantage, there can have much collision for sure, difficult to detect errors and solve it. There is no coordination for sending the traffic. Tree network, in this case, multiple star networks connect each other and create the tree star network. So that's called tree network. So here you can see computers are connected to a switch or router, computers connected to a switch or router, and they all are connected and they are creating the tree network. One tree, one tree, one tree, one tree, one tree. So this is the tree network, I think the forest network. So advantage of tree network, you can keep the networks or separate departments in your organization separate, and then you can use tree stand network to interconnect them. In that case, the hub of one network can be connected to the hub of another network. So sometimes using this procedure, all these computers are made can access one central root server with significant high capacity. And in terms of disadvantage, it's difficult to create. Configuration can be difficult. Those type of thing. Mesh network, all the computers are connected to each other. The advantages, the transmission can be easy, just directly sent, can be fast, or can take alternate routes. And in terms of disadvantages, lots of wires. Thank you and have a good day. We'll come back with other training videos. If you have any concern, you can just ask it here, ask.just@etc.net.